Hey everyone, Tracy Repchuk here, and I'm going to take you through a part 1 of 5 today on list building and landing pages. So let's take a look at this journey here. Creating and developing a strategy for list building and landing pages is really the formula for automated income. And all it takes is for you to create, connect, and convert. All right, so we're going to be focusing on the overview. That's what I'm going to touch on today. The why create a landing page. All right. Then next section, we're going to get into the actual creation of one. Then what do you do to connect? What do you do to convert? And last but not least, how do you launch this whole thing? Okay. How do you make that funnel? All right, here we go. Overview. And it's funny, I still always have to back myself up and say and go back to the fact of what is a landing page. Because sometimes I'll start to talk to somebody and then they'll gloss over and I'll realize they don't even know what I'm talking about, because it becomes for the last 8 years now, it's been such a important part of my business that it's kind of, for me, like somebody not having a website. And that is, you aren't building a database, okay? And you aren't leveraging kind of the greatest technology on earth right now, which is the internet and Google, for the ability to do this. Okay, so let's take a look at the history of building a list. Years ago, and again, this was my day, right? 1985, I started my software company at the age of 19. That thing right there sat on the end of my desk. It's a Rolodex for any youngsters that are watching. And you used to get in touch with somebody and you used to just flip through this thing when you needed to call them again. And this is how we started. And you maybe would like staple their business card to one of these things, but it was a mess. They all fall down. It was just a disaster. Not really a great way to operate business, because it never told you, hey, you should be calling them. It's been a week. Or, hey, why don't I reach out to them automatically? Wouldn't that be nice? Then we got a little more sophisticated, and along came kind of the ability to track and monitor your contacts, okay, like a contact management system, like Act Goldmine, Maximizer, Big Contacts. These types of systems came into reality, and they sat on your desktop. And now you had the ability to take the information from the business card and put it in there, and you could set up ticklers, and you could set up all these little things on what have they bought, what's their history, what's their spouse's name. You could just get way more information. The bottom line is, you were still adding this in. If it wasn't for you, that person wouldn't exist. This is why I am so in love with landing pages, because it's not up to you. This is user permission-based contacts. They came, they put their name and their email address on that one-page website that you have, and they said, hey, I'd like to get in touch with you. I'd like you to start contacting me. I'd love to receive more information from you. So you didn't go out and get this lead. They came to you. That's the beautiful part, is it is an automated process where, by search, by finding you, by finding the content on your landing page, whatever it is, or by you even driving them there and accelerating the connection, they go, they get their free report from you, and now we can start to communicate properly. All right. The old methods are one and one. You grunted and grinded to get that lead. And this is landing page. It really is, because the internet has millions of users that you cannot personally handle. You can't pick up the phone and talk to every single one of them that are doing general inquiry on who you are, what you do. And in my case, a lot of the times they'd say, what's a landing page? And this is why we got a video now. Okay, so we've opened the floodgates, and now we have a funnel to capture high volumes of traffic and people coming in to get to know us better. So you want to really build a list, because then you become like a tribe leader of people that know you, trust you, like you, and buy from you. And it's as simple as saying, give me your name and your email address. And in exchange, I'm going to give you like a free gift. All right. There's an art to that free gift. It's not just something random, by the way, and that's a whole nother video. But the bottom line is what we're doing is getting them in and making sure that now we can build that relationship. All right, so here's what generally a landing page looks like. Now, I am going to clarify this with what a branded landing page looks like. There are actually many different types of landing pages. This, to me, is the landing page that I would build for you that integrates to your brand, which means this is on your business card, this is on your letterhead, this is on your formal branded website, your larger site. All of the pieces, all of the colors, everything is congruent with each other, so that you have this entire kind of fully branded end-to-end online web presence. And then again, it just kind of does that one thing, right? Gets their attention and gives them a gift. Make sure that they come into your funnel and they are going to be able to further the relationship. All right, so if we look at the general foundation of web elements, it's really, you got your master site and your blog. That's actually where most people start. Okay, they build their site and their blog is usually underneath, and they've got this, and then now what? It really is a now what. If you continue to send people to just your master site, they bounce in and bounce out and bounce in and bounce out. All you got is a statistic that says you have a 87% bounce rate. You've got nothing else to go on. Who was that person? Did they find what they were looking for? You don't know. They're gone. Okay. Your job in your business is to actually drive traffic and customers. And the problem is, without the landing page as the magnetic draw assisting you and allowing you to pool together all of those people in one place to simplify the communication, your whole system collapses. There's a missing piece, as you saw there, and nothing can flow. Because if you're driving traffic and customers to your master site, you're tracking nothing. If you're driving traffic and customers directly to a sales page, you're tracking nothing. We can't contact anybody after to find out, did you find what you were looking for? Is there any way I can help you? Do you have any questions? Nothing. The system shuts down, which is why the landing page needs to be in there as the linchpin to everything. Here's the other reason I am in love with a landing page. And I'll never forget the very first mentor I bought like 9 years ago. He said to me one thing: put up a landing page. And I was like, I paid him $5,500 for that advice and to teach me how to do a landing page. And so I said, yeah, but I don't have a product. I had nothing. I had no website, no product. I was at ground zero. I was at the idea of maybe I'm going into internet marketing and I'll be an internet marketer. And so he said, build it anyway. And so he said, just give away tips every week. Make sure you go in there and give them a tip for the week. And I said, okay, I will do it. And I begrudgingly, I did. Okay. I did it. I posted it. It went live and I just left the thing there. And then I went on to write a book. I realized at that time that the internet was like the Wild West. Everyone was like, oh, if you do eBay, or if you do this traffic, or if you just put up a niche site, or if you do this, you'll get money, right? But the problem was, and everybody was talking just pound traffic, but to what? Nobody had the foundation in place. Nobody was building a business. It was so like the Wild West that it was like throwing spaghetti on the wall, and everybody was wondering why it worked for other people but didn't work for them. And so I wrote this book called 31 Days to Millionaire Marketing Miracles, which is the absolute platform of the internet foundation. A to Z. What do you do? Okay. It's a how-to book, still available up on Amazon. So I write this book, and I decide that I'm going to do a bestseller campaign, because the only way for me to be seen is to do something out of the ordinary to get seen. and that was a bestseller campaign. Well, I tell you, they didn't exist like they do now. There was a couple, and I paid $2,500 for a binder, and then came this binder of whatever amount of pages that said, this is what you do. All right. So I start to write my book, and I'm writing my book, and I'm creating websites, and I'm doing half days of that and half days of marketing, and kind of figuring out and loading my book on Amazon. And I'm also going back to the days where you had to buy, 5,000 copies of your book and warehouse them. And that's another thing that I had to do. Nowadays, using CreateSpace and integrated automatically to Amazon, dream scenario. So this is what I'm doing, and I'm about to launch my book, and I'm thinking, oh God, please don't let me get stuck with all these books in my garage, right? Or in the warehouse, which is even worse because I was paying for storage. And I launch it, and it goes to number one. So the campaign structure that I followed worked, and I'm all excited and yay. And then people started to call me, and then all of a sudden, that's where everything changed for me. And fast forward 4 years from that moment, and Wiley Publishing approached me to buy the books. A New York literary agent gets into the works, and boom, all of a sudden I've got this awesome scenario that I have dreamed of since I was 12 years old. And then when it relaunches, it goes number one in Canada, US, and the UK in the same week. But here's how that happened, that first moment, and here's my point, right? When I went to launch that book with this bestseller campaign, remember that landing page I built and ignored because all I ever was doing was putting in every single week a email. When I went to launch, I had 3,000 people in there. I launched that book announcement to 3,000 people, and of course, it just went ballistic. They had been receiving information from me for 3 months, and not once did I ask them to buy anything. All of a sudden, I come out and I say, hey, my new book is just launching on Amazon. If you buy today, I'm going to give you $600 worth of free goodies. Go buy now. And boof, everybody responded. Because it was a whole new world of me asking them, and they were just so grateful to get something from me. And for $25 they were getting a bargain. And if it wasn't for that landing page, I would not have had the list, and I would have had nobody to launch to, which is the typical scenario most people get into. You got your book, you spent so much time writing it, now you're sitting there with it and nobody's waiting to buy it. So point number one of how a landing page launched my career. Point number two on how a landing page launched my career. From that moment, everybody started to contact me and say, will you coach me through the book? And I was like, sure, I'll coach you. I wasn't a coach. I was nothing, guys. I started from ground zero. So I get training on how to be a coach. I fly home and I start to be a coach. Well, I'd made 6 figures in the first few months because I was charging $10,000 for me to take somebody through the book. I would just tell them what to do. They would go off to do it. I would review all their work. And that's how it went. And the person would be with me for a year. And from that, the World Internet Summit saw me, and they awarded me New Internet Marketing Success of the Year for how fast I hit the scene. And they flew me, all expenses paid, from California to Singapore to appear on my very first stage in front of 3,400 people. Game changer for me. All of a sudden, now I'm a speaker. And then from there, I've now spoken in over 35 countries, thousands of stages with the world's biggest speakers. From that one moment, from that launch, from that landing page. And this is why it is such a building block of steps that when you skip one of them, the whole thing collapses and you don't know why. Then, of course, that went on to get me on TV and media, and really changed my life. I started now with a culmination of being effective online, my book, my speaking, and TV and publicity. Every single year now, I literally reach millions, 20 million at least, with my message. And that's what I want for you. And it starts with the landing page. It's the building block. So why must you have one? It's to build a community and a relationship. There's millions of people online right now, and you need to pull them into a tribe. You need to become the tribe leader, and you need to create this relationship with them so they know, like, trust, and buy from you. Then the other reason you need a landing page is to track your promotional activity. If you're doing a Facebook ad, or if you're even doing a YouTube campaign, you're putting a video out, where are you driving them? What's the call to action? If the call to action isn't to a landing page so that you can see if they provided their name and their email address so you can continue the relationship, you have no way of effectively tracking the throughput and success of that promotion. It takes on average 7 touch points to make a sale. So point number 3 is without that landing page, you're the one that has to get on the phone and say, hey, did you look at my stuff? I don't know if you remember those days, but I sure as heck do. You'd be calling, like you'd be making 70 phone calls a day. That's your whole day was sucked up in phoning somebody, they're not home, they're not there, leaving a message on the thing, going to the next person, phoning somebody, because it takes 7 points to make a sale. Maybe it doesn't take that much to make a $7 sale, but this isn't about a $7 sale. We're trying to sell high-end coaching programs here, and that's going to take an intimate start of a relationship. The other one is, if you've heard people talk about how I've made money while you sleep and play, this is how it's done. You can't make money without a list, without an online product, and without something, an autoresponder system, messages being generated that are telling people, go buy, go buy, go buy, while you're in bed or while you're out on a cruise or something. And then that's why you need the landing page. It's the one that handles the communication of all of this. And quite frankly, point number 5, it's costing you your success if you skip it. I know so many people bypassing the landing page. They say, I don't need it. It's not important. I'm just going to do this. Well, then you literally are stepping over pennies to make dollars. It's like so detrimental. I can't even describe what you're leaving or what you must be leaving on the table. You can actually gauge how much money your company is going to make based on some of the people in your list, the size of your list, because you're going to know the cost per head. You're going to know when I send out an email, the cost per head is 4% conversion, and if I send a $1,000 offer, this is what you're going to make from that email. You can get to that level of predictability when you're properly tracking. And when you're doing things such as, hey, you're speaking at a live event, or you've got something to say to somebody, sure, posting it on social media, that's great. But Twitter, you put a tweet out, and if somebody was sitting there right at that millisecond, then they see it. Otherwise, it's gone. Facebook, okay, people are getting more and more inundated, and less time is getting spent on quality Facebook time even. LinkedIn, it's one of my favorite strategies, but very time consuming. And this is a way that you are gathering information without you doing anything extra except saying, go to my landing page, or they're finding you on Google. Here is the structure of this whole thing. It starts with your vision. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What's your target market? You establish your brand, your colors, the way you're going to communicate to that. You build the landing page. This is the first thing I start all my clients on, okay, is the building of the landing page. Because as we're about to promote in the future and drive traffic, we need to be driving them to the landing page. So it's not an afterthought, it's the forefront. Then we're going to create emails to communicate, encourage, nurture those that come in through the funnel. Then we're going to develop the branded website. Then we're going to integrate everything with SEO, make sure we're aware of what our keywords are and what we're going to be going after. Integrate all of this with our social media so that we are branded end to end. And so our communication, our unique selling proposition, all of that is clearly understood. Then last but not least, the blood of it all is the traffic. But the blood doesn't work unless we're actually generating that to something worthwhile, which is the landing page. So next time we get together, I'm going to be talking about the create part. Okay, so that's our next thing. So if you're interested in having me build your landing page, I'd love to help you with that. I'd love to help brand you, put it all together, develop your logos, spend some time consulting with you, the works, okay? It's a very high level hand-holding project. You can go to alandingpage.com and there's information there for you. And if you would just like to get more information from me, you can go to fastactionresults.com, and there's a free guide there for how your brand, websites, and social media work together. And you can grab that and we can continue our relationship through a landing page. So until next time,